Sister Anna, you didn't open the mic.
Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyanamitas, Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 41 by Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima. Today is our first class in this new year 2023. Happy New Year to everyone. May this new year brings goodness to everyone. Tonight, we are going to discuss the 16th section of Sigālovāda Sutta. Sigālovāda Sutta is the fourth sutta from the total of 10 suttas that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, kindly check on the previous videos on Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Klang Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 40 videos there. The sutta discussion Zoom class is always open. Therefore, whoever that wish to join the class where we can engage directly with Bhante can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Klang's Facebook Messenger. We are welcoming newcomers. Now, please allow me to introduce about our speaker. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima currently is the Senior Advisor at Ti-Ratana Canada, a virtual Dharma organization that helps beginner as well as expert students in learning Dharma in variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Patisotta's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conducts on regular basis. You can check on Patisotta with the link www.patisotta.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Gangodawila Chandima earned his PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante. Thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, everybody. And once again, Happy New Year 2023. It's ironic that we have spent 6 days. Time flies without our notice. Yeah, time goes. It's not the problem with the time. It's how we use it, right? We can't blame the time because time is an illusion, right? Who says that there are only 365 days for the year, right? And there could have been a different way of measuring time, I guess, a long time ago. But anyways, we accept, we have to go by the conventions. We can't change sometimes. Just be with that. Once again, I wanted to welcome everybody to Sutta discussion hosted by Ti-Ratana Klang Temple. Now, we have come to the new year. In probably 2 months, around 2 months of time, we are completing almost 1 year of starting this. And you can see this is day 41. 16 class of one topic yet, Sigālovāda Sutta. We have Aliana, Lim, Kelvin, Sadris, Bella, Sokting, and probably few others might be joining as time goes. Okay, so before we start off, let's pay homage to Buddha and then start off our day. And yeah, we'll do so. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Because this is the first day of the year it's a good practice to say the teaching of all Buddhas. Okay, there's a stanza for that. Sabbapa passa akaranang kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodappanang etang buddhana sasanang. Not doing any evil, doing all the good, purifying one's thoughts is the teaching of all 28 Buddhas, probably more than that, because there are so many Buddhas before first Buddha that we know, Tanankara Buddha. But because of the easy memorization, we only take from Tanankara Buddha. But there are a lot of Buddhas before. Okay. All right. So, I think there is an easy reference in the instruction. English translation number 29, second part. So, can cross-check with the English document, which means if you go to English document, it's going to be 29 and the second part. So, the second part contains the responsibilities from teachers, mentors, I would say pretty much teachers towards their students. If you are a teacher, in whatever the capacity, if you are a music teacher, if you are a science teacher, if you are a whatever teacher, professor, lecturer, then you have responsibilities to consider. That does not mean that you should do all these, probably in the way how they are going to be possible. So let's take a look at the Pali side. This is going to be number 13. Which para is that? Third para, right? Third para of number 13 of Sutta Central Document Link. You could see the second part starting from okay, Imehi ko gahapati putta panchahitanehi antevasina dakkinadisa acharya pachupatita panchahitanehi antevasina ankam. Okay, so who would like to read this part? It's good to have some New Year vibes, huh? I'm going to read it.
I would like to try.
New Year vibes. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
It start from because I did attend for 2 times.
Okay,
Then
okay. So Bella, can you go to number 13 of the Sutta Central Document, Sigālovāda Sutta?
yes,
In
yes.
that we finished the first part, so that ends with Anuppadasamiti. Sorry, not that one. Huh? It's going to be third para. Yeah, Panchahitanehi Antevasina Dakkina Disa Acharya Pachupatita.
It panchahiko kaha patiputta. Is right that? It is part or
No, we have done that part, the second part of that para.
just only the second part.
Just the second part.
Oh, okay, I see. Panchahiko kaha patiputta tha nehi.
Bella, I think we done the first part of that paragraph. So we're going to do
I
the
see.
second part of that
paragraph.
paragraph. You can't find it. Let me give you a trace. It has to start from. Let's start from Suvinitang. There's a dash. Suvinitang Vineti. Start from there. Pretty easy. Suvinitang. I think it's going to be. Which line is that?
Now I'm looking for it.
7. It's the 7th line. 7th line. Suvinitang. There's a dash. Suvinitang Vineti. Suggahitang Gahapinti. Okay, let me read so we can find out. Panchahipo Gahapati Putta Tani Yante Vasina Dakina Disa Acharya Pachupattata Uttanena Upattanena Sussusaya Paricharyaya Sakkachan Sippa Patigahani Imehipo Gahapati Putta Panchahitanehi Ante Vasina Dakina Disa Acharya Pachupattita Panchahitanehi Ante Vasikam Anukampanti. On it, there's a dash. Suvineta.
It the that in front.
Yeah.
If that in front is Batone Barisani,
No, I think you are reading the wrong passage.
the wrong one.
Under 13, there are paragraphs, right? Not the first paragraph. 13 has many paragraphs, right? Not the
Yes,
first one,
right.
not the second. Third one.
The third one.
Yeah, third one. You see in the middle of that third paragraph? Suvinita Vinita.
Suvinitang.
Sorry about that, because there are no numbers for each paragraph in this sutta. Yeah, that's a small issue here, but you could trace if you look at it. Were you able to find the third paragraph under 13?
Sorry, maybe
Okay.
I couldn't find where is the poem.
Okay. Does somebody else want to read too in the meantime?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
no
having
problem.
waste of the time.
Yeah. Who wants to read? Sok, you want to try?
Bhante, can I ask to share screen so that everybody can see the paragraph?
Yeah.
I think the host can just press to the share screen and allow everyone to share screen. Then I can share. Then Bella can.
Yeah. I mean, they all have the readings at the moment. I mean, if you could read on your part, it's okay for today because we have a plan for that next day. Did you find the place?
I can't share screen yet. I think the host. I think
No,
CK.
I mean for today. Can you read from your end?
I can, but I think it's a bit noisy here. I don't know whether it affect everybody.
I think we hear you well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will just read from where you stop, right, Bhante?
Suvinita. There's a dash. Suvinita, Vineti, Suggahita. It's going to be the 7th line in that paragraph.
Okay, Sipam Sukhapati, is it correct? Pati.
Where is that?
I think there's a BJ in Mexico. Gaha Patiputa Pachathi Tanehi Putena.
Further down.
Okay. Niya Tenti in Mexico. Gaha Patiputa Parichahi Tanehi Putena Pratima.
I think that's not. Yeah, it's okay. I think.
Sorry,
you got a problem today. It's okay. Maybe I'm gonna read for you today. Okay, Aliana.
Suvinitang Vineti
Found it. Suggahitang
Gaha Penti Sabasipasutang Samakayino Bawanti Mitamacesu Patiyadenti disasu paritanang karonti. Imehi ko gahapati putta pancahi tanehi atewasina dakina disa acariya pacupatita imehi pancahi tanehi antewasin anukampanti ewa masa esa dakina disa paticana hoti kema apatibaya.
Great. Others, were you able to find the place? Second part of the third paragraph of number 30. I know it's a little difficult because you are pretty new, most of you, to Pali, but I hope that this is going to be okay. Probably we can find a different way to do this, so you would know. There should be some numbering for this at a certain point. Okay. Okay, so let me read that too. Suvinitang vinenti, number 1. There are 5 responsibilities from. Oh yeah, I think Kelvin sent an interesting screenshot. You click on that, you see the place. Yeah, it's good. Thanks for that help. Everybody got there, right? Okay, great. So there are 5 responsibilities that teachers need to do for their students. Number 1, suvinitang vinenti. Number 2, suggahitang gahapenti. Number 3, sabbasippasutang samakkaino bhavati. Number 4, mitta maccesu patiyaditi. Number 5, disasu parittanam karoti. Okay, so we will explain one by one. But before that, I'm going to ask somebody to read in English too. Animehiko gahapati putta panchahi chanehi ante vasina dakkina disa acharya pachupattita. Imehi panchahi tanehi ante vasin anukampati. Evamassa esa dakkina disa patichanna hoti kema patibaya. Now, the last line says that when both students and teachers take care of their responsibilities, what they are creating is a very safe environment for both of them, right? Because the idea of the directions is nothing but the overcoming of the fears. Because if you do not play your roles, responsibilities towards the other parties, that means you are creating fears directly into it. But if you are doing your responsibility, that means you are overcoming fears that arise from different directions. Now, what direction does the relationship between teachers and students play here? Which direction is that?
Southern.
South direction, southern direction. Okay. Okay, now who is going to read the English translation? It's going to be the second part of 29. So you can start by reading. And teachers so respected reciprocate. It's very easy. Yeah, Sadhus, go ahead.
And teachers so respected reciprocate with compassion in 5 ways: by training self-discipline, ensuring that the teaching are well grasped, instruction in every branch of knowledge, introducing their friends and colleagues, and providing safeguard in every direction. In this way, the southern direction is protected and made peaceful and secure.
Great. Okay, so we understand in the meanings in what do you say in more technical ways, but we will see in Pali a little bit more. Here it says that first responsibility a teacher does for a student or a bunch of students is suvinitang vinen. Suvinitang vinen. Interesting, huh? Vinita. What is Vinita in Pali? What does Vinita in Pali mean? Vinita means discipline. Discipline. When the prefix su is added at the beginning, it becomes like a very well, kind of a very, probably it says, it adds kind of a different higher layer. That means well-disciplined. So the first thing that a teacher or a mentor, I know that not all the teachers think this way. This teacher might think that I go to the classroom, I just do my job like a teacher and then come back. That's not my duty, because nowadays people are struggling with their parts. I don't want to do other people's parts. I do my part. Right? This happens in some spiritual activities too. I'm only I'm only responsible for taking care of the flowers today in the puja. I don't take care of other stuff. It's not my duty. Right? People have been so much, compelled to think only their role, because there are some reasons too for that, because nobody wants to put fingers in other people's business, other people's role, even in temple. But sometimes this whole idea might sort of miss out on the consciousness of our integrity. Sometimes it depends. I'm not saying that we had to do all that, right? Remember the Sanskrit story of a dog and a donkey. It's an imaginary story, but there's something to learn. In Panchatantra book, it says that a dog does not bark at the thieves because he was not well taken care of by the owner. So one day the thieves came in, and then the dog saw them, but he did not open even the eyes, right? The donkey approached the dog and said, "Look, thieves are in operation. Get on and bark." Said, "No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not given food by this guy. I'm not gonna do that." Then he thought, the donkey thinks to himself, "Okay, if you don't do that, I'm gonna do the same thing, so the owner will wake up." So he just did his own what do you call that sound. So the moment the owner woke up with that sound, the thieves ran away, and the owner misunderstood. There was no scene here, but this animal just made a sound, so he beat him to death. So don't do other people's business. Interesting story. We never know. Sometimes we get caught by other people for unnecessary stuff. Do only your job. But there are, as I told you at the beginning, conscience and these mental things, but we have to do them in a proper way, right? Not always trying to do other people responsibilities. We have to find smarter ways if we think that we need to do. But for the most part, be careful, because in today's world, I think the responsibilities are mostly specified, determined, so we don't want to put our fingers in other people's stuff unnecessarily. But here, the teacher has a primary role of disciplining students. It's not just the discipline, it's like bringing them towards the well-disciplined. Now, let's talk about what are the words that we see here. Here it says Vinita. Now, Vinenti. Vinenti means Vinaya. This is a very interesting word in Pali. Vinaya, Dhamma Vinaya. Dhamma means doctrine. Vinaya means discipline. Right? Now, what does Vinaya mean? There's a language thing to learn here. Grammatical thing to learn here. Ni is to bring.
Those lines.
I think the connection not so good.
We wait for a while, brother and sister.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry about that. My power went off, so I'm gonna do this on audio till I get the power. Okay, is that okay? Otherwise, I look like this. Not a good sign. Okay. Do you hear me, folks? Okay. So where have I left up? So I left up at a place where the word called Vinaya, how Vinaya makes up. So in Pali, there is a verb stem called ni. Ni means to bring towards, bring forward. Vi means to a specific place. That means Vinaya means bringing someone towards a specific place. That means making a better person. So the first responsibility of a teacher is to bring students to, becoming a better person. But in today's world, there may be some issues for that because, teacher has a role. We know that this is possible in the primary school, right? There's no problem, right? When the teacher is to teach in the primary school, the teacher can even consider about whether students clip their nails, whether they comb their hair, right? He or she can go into that level, but I don't think this can happen at the high school. Probably in the university, students might think this is a little bit more, right? And they think they are adults. But anyways, but teacher has to understand, how do I bring my children or my students into a greater discipline? I think discipline is very important, because without discipline, it's not very easy to make this first responsibility to a fruition. So the first responsibility is to bring children, I would say students to a level of discipline. Without discipline, I don't think the teacher can fulfills the first responsibility. So the Pali word called Vinenti means bring towards Suvinita, to well-disciplined. Any thoughts about this thing in your own way? Because do you think that does discipline matter a lot from teacher to the student? Because some teachers don't care discipline, right? So they, when they don't care discipline from the teacher's side towards students, there may be some issues, right? Any thoughts about it before we jump into the second responsibility? Okay, if not, we can continue with the second one. The second responsibility is Suggahitam Gaha Penti. What does it mean? Suggahitam Gaha Penti says ensuring the teachings are well grasped. Okay, so teacher has to understand that what I teach students is well grasped by students. So how does the teacher do that? I know there are some teachers who are using the same note, same syllabi for many years. They don't even update the knowledge, right? Sometimes they don't even care about the students, whether they can understand or not, right? So you have to, I mean, if you are a teacher, you need to update your knowledge, right? Now, let's say a good example is if you are a Dhamma speaker in today's time, 21st century Dhamma speaker. When you talk Dhamma to people, you have to know the audience, and also you need to update your knowledge, because now Dhamma is so accessible. If you don't use Dhamma knowledge in an accessible way, then the students will be having some difficulties to understand the Dhamma. So that's from the Dhamma speaker's side. On the other hand, do you think that the teachers, mentors really care about the students' receptibility? Do you think it happens? Any examples from the Buddhist stories?
the Buddha himself, when he preached his first sermon, he don't straight away preach his, his teaching. He just make sure that the five, his disciples or non-disciples at that time are, ready to receive the thing before he teaches the thing. So that's why he needs to ensure that they are, what do you call, I know their mind is receptive to the teaching.
Yeah, so the Buddha understood that by teaching them the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, they will be able to understand. But did it really work? Only one person was able to become a Sotapanna. Anya Kondan became only a Sotapanna at the end of the first Dhamma talk. For the rest of them, I think there was another sutta, so and so forth. So it kept going on and on. What about with the Sariputta Moggallana, brothers or friends? How did they understand? Now, a lot of people talk about teaching Dhamma, spreading Dhamma, but not many people talk about how do we understand Dhamma, right? So there are different levels of people understanding Dhamma, right? What happened with Sariputta and Moggallana? Sariputta and Moggallana were friends, and they decided we want to go in two ways to find out Dhamma. If one finds out Dhamma, that person has to teach the other one. So under this promise, they went separately, and Sariputta found out, that means Upatissa and Kolt, actually, their lay names. Upatissa found out a monk by the side of the road. His name was Assaji, right? And then he offered dana, and then at the end of the dana, finishing his lunch meal, Upatissa asked from him, Bhante, can you teach me some Dhamma? Then monk Assaji, he told, this is one of the 5 ascetics, right? He told Upatissa, I don't know a lot of Dhamma, but I know only one special thing. That is the, what you call, the Paticcasamuppada. I got the power back, so give me a second. Let me just read. Sorry about that. Okay, so Upatissa said to, Assaji, monk Assaji told Upatissa that I don't know a lot of Dhamma. That means in order to become a Sotapanna or even an Arahan, you don't need to know a lot of Dhamma. That is true. Don't take it as your example, okay? As your guidance. I don't need to listen to a lot of Dhamma talks. Because every person's way of receptibility is different. The only thing is that if we find that subtle point in our life, tap into that subtle point, then everything will be a blast at that point, because you understand the life as it is. Right? Sometimes when you learn a lot of them also, you cannot understand anything because you know a lot, right? It's like that when things are too technical, it's a little difficult to find out the place, right? Anyways, don't fall into any extremes. Just be on the middle. I would say in the middle of whatever the things. So then the monk Assaji told Upatissa, this stanza, Ye Dhamma Hetu Papava, Desang Hetu Tathagatuva. I know my teacher, he told us how things arise and then how things are co-arisen, right? This theory, that means dependability. Every matter is interdependent. There's no matter, no element that is independent, that is not dependent. This is true, right? So we are a product of my mother, our mother and fathers, right? And your children are a product of you. this Dhamma talk is a product of our previous Dhamma talks. And the future Dhamma talks going to be products of this Dhamma talk. Right? So everything has a link. And then it is said that by hearing 2 lines of this stanza, which I said, Upadissa became a Sotapanna. Interesting, eh? Pretty interesting. And then Upadissa said, oh, thank you very much. Namodana to you. And then he now looked for Polith. That means Moggalla, his friend. He found out somewhere. He is also searching. And then he said, I met somebody called Asaji on the way. I knew this. I can tell you this thing if you want. Right? Yeah. You can just teach me. And he said the same stanza to Polith. He became a Sotapanna, not at the second line. He had to learn the whole stanza. That means Moggallana's receptivity is not faster like Sariputta. That's why Sariputta is the monk who has the greatest receptivity of the knowledge. Dhammasenadipati. Right? The Dhammasena. Right? So there are different individuals, even among the greatest chief disciples. And if you take Atula's case, remember Atula? What happened with Atula? Atula was a very devoted devotee who goes to temple. He was helping the temple a lot, like many of you, donating and all. So one day he went to the temple, and then he approached, I think, my knowledge, Bhante Revata. Bhante Revata is very famous for saying Dhamma talk like nice Dhamma talks or whatever. Beautiful. He was not happy about it. The talk was beautiful, but nothing to learn, thinking to himself. And then he approached another monk, Bhante Anand, unenlightened monk, but he knows a lot. He was next to the Buddha, right? Always. Bhante Ananda gave a Dhamma talk, a long Dhamma talk, like from the Digha Nikaya that he was responsible. He had too long. It's too long to think about. He was not happy about Bhante. Then he approached Bhante Sariputta. Bhante Sariputta is the the main teacher of Abhidhamma. It is said that the Buddha went to Tavatimsa. Every day, Buddha came to the Anotappa lake. Right? Now, these Buddhologists talk about different. They talk about the five lakes in the United States and Canada, Superior and all. They have some thoughts about these could be the places of the Anotappa, because they say that part is what we call the Kuera's area in the Buddhology, the modern scholars, but there are no proofs for that, but they just decide. But anyways, every day at the end of the Abhidhamma Desana of the Buddha towards Devas, Buddha came to Anotappa lake and then taught Abhidhamma to Sariputta, Arahant Sariputta. So then what happened with Atula was that Arahant Sariputta gave a talk with Abhidhamma to Atula. Atula could not understand at all. When he do not understand about beautiful talk and a lengthy talk, then what about an Abhidhamma? Not at all. So then he approached the Buddha at the end and said to Buddha, I approached your very famous disciples, but I'm not happy about it. Right. And then the Buddha said, Nakti loke anindito. In this world, there is nobody who is not being criticized, who is not being blamed. Everybody is being blamed, including me, the Buddha said. Right? It's okay. It's okay to be blamed. But have the courage to understand. Don't try to react. Try to. Our negative point is that once we are blamed, we try to correct us, defend us, right it. That's not a Buddhist way of responding. Right? But if we haven't done anything wrong, but we should have a way to respond in a proper way. So the point here is that receptivity of different people, even at the time of the Buddha, is very different. Then what about today's time? Just imagine. So we don't have to worry about it. But when you are a Dhamma speaker, when you are a teacher, you should always understand that every student learns at a different pace. This pace is very different from one to one. So So be compassionate towards them. That is very interesting. I think that is very interesting because otherwise you can't teach anybody. I think a good teacher is somebody who knows how to teach, right? That's very interesting. And have you ever seen some scholars who are great scholars, but they cannot teach other people? Have you seen such people? They call Pacheka Buddhas. Pacheka Buddhas, they became enlightened, but they don't know how to teach. It's true. I know some good writers, they write pretty good books, pretty good stuff. But when they ask to say, I don't know how to talk, how to teach this, right? But there are good speakers, but they don't write a lot. So it goes in both ways. So that is why there's a Sanskrit stanza which goes this way. Shate sujayate shura. A real warrior in this world appears in 1 out of 100. A real warrior, an adventurous person. Shate sujayate shura. Sahasre suchapan. A good scholar, literati, appears out of 1 out of 1,000 scholars. A good literati, good scholar, a really good scholar, both writing and speaking. And then Vakta Shata Sahasres, a good speaker, an eloquent, very eloquent speaker, right? Appears 1 out of 100,000. A good speaker that catches the attention of many. That is why it is said it is a blessing from the Devas. When somebody can speak well, catches the attention of many, that it's a blessing from the Devas, it says. Saraswati on Indian goats, they talk about. But the funny thing is that Data Jagati Durlabha, a good donor is rarer than all these people. A good donor to offer something to somebody with real heart, non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. Such a person is to be found very rare. So the idea here is that receptivity. So we have to, if you are a teacher, you don't need to be a teacher too. Sometimes you teach your children, you teach something to somebody. You should understand everybody learns at a different pace. You should be compassionate, find good ways to teach. So the second responsibility of teachers is to ensure that the teachings are well grasped, learned by students. Anything to add to this point? Responsibility of teachers? Probably you can reflect upon your teachers. Okay, let's get into the third one because we have time for discussion at the end. The third one here is the responsibility is Sabba Sippa Sutam Samakhaino Bhava. Sabba, what does Sabba mean in Pali? Sabba. Sabba means, I think I already explained this to you. Sabba, what does Sabba mean in Pali? Sabba. Sabba means all. All. In Pali, Sabba means all. Right? So, Sabba Sippa Sutam. What is Sippa Sutam? These are two aspects of our learning. Sippa Sutta. Sippa, I would say some technical talents. Sutta is knowledge. Oh, I would say this way. Hard skills, soft skills. That would be nice. That's it. Sippa means hard skills. Sutta means soft skills. Is that a good way to learn it? Yes. Sippa means hard skills. Sutta means soft skills. How do I tell you this thing? Remember when Prince Siddhartha was going to choose Princess Yashodhara, right? He selected Yashodhara, But the father of Yashodhara said, no, I'm not gonna give her to you. You should show your hard skills, right? Hard skills, simple. So he had to show some archery stuff. Archery is striking an arrow towards the target. Okay, I know you're gonna get there. So you are pretty focused. You know how to take care of a woman, right? Just because you have the soft skills, that won't add the full picture, right? So hard skill, soft skill. Not even for a marriage, even for our life, we should be able to have a combination, a blend of hard skills and soft skills. So, sabba sippa sutta samakkaino bhavanti. See, samakkai. It is said here. Huh? Instructing in every branch of knowledge that has been summarized in the English translation. It means giving the full knowledge. The full knowledge includes hard skills and soft skills, right? If you are asked to sing a song, but if you don't remember the other half of the song, then that means you are lacking in something, right? You ask, can you sing a song? Should be able to sing a song. You know the full song. If you could play an instrument, musically, you should be able to do it. If you put some other life skills, there are many other life skills that are really in need of improving our life. Soft skills are also very important, right? So we need that combination. So the teacher should be able to give full knowledge, which has the hard skills, soft skills to a student. Both have to be given out by the teacher. How do we take in the contemporary life? Teachers, professors, lecturers, they teach, they conduct teaching, right? At the same time, they try to give some, other things like assignments, tutorials, lab experiences, field trips. There may be other things too. So both have to go in tandem, right? Just learning what the teacher says, professor says, lecturer says, mentor says, does not seem enough. So we have to go with that combination. On the other hand, what does it mean? Teacher should not keep any knowledge that is hidden from the student. There could be some students at different times. These teachers don't say everything to the student. Student catches everything. I will be having no place. Which happened to the Guttilas. Remember Guttila Jataka? Remember? The Guttila and Musala story. Musala was the Devadatta, I guess. Guttila was the Bodhisattva, Shakyamuni. So Guttila was one of the very famous, musician. But he did not keep any knowledge behind the students. He kept everything. Because I like my students go ahead and me. But Musila was trying to challenge him. There are some students who do not go on their own way, but they want to challenge their teachers. It's pretty crazy, right? So I think my idea here is that we are supposed to, if you are a teacher, if you know something, it's good that if we can give everything to somebody. But depending on the situation, I think it is still good to keep some knowledge. Otherwise, there may be some consequences. Any experiences, Dhamma folks? That means do not teach everything right away. I'm not doing that because otherwise people won't come back. I mean, some people say, I'm not teaching everything in one day. People don't come back, right? So you have to teach part by part, not in the Dhamma classes. Some professors also say, I'm not teaching everything today. Just teach only one area of this thing. It's true. What are your thoughts about teachers? If you are a teacher, if you're someone who knows something that you can teach somebody, but do you think that you should teach everything, like everything complete to a student? I'm not talking about university backgrounds. I'm talking about in our life. Because some people don't like sharing at all. Some people just share, but they have some consequences also. How do we look at this thing? If you know anything in your life, be that a life experience, do you think that you should give everything to others? Good question.
Yeah, I got some experience
Okay, go ahead.
on the oil fields. When I go to one country to one country where I'm a mechanic, so there are those under me. I'll teach them, I guide them, I even teach them how to drive the crane and all that. But eventually, they all gang up. They want to kick me out because I'm the only. Because in most of the rig, I'm the only Singaporean. The rest, if I go Malaysia, it's Malaysians. I go Philippines, it's all Filipinos. But when I teach them, they ask me to teach. Okay, I say, okay, you follow me. I show you the way, I step by step. Then they say they want crane. I bring them crane. I tell them how to fill up, how to handle the lever, everything. But after a few months, they plot up. They want to throw me. In the end, they all get thrown up because they come up with a lot of certificates and all that. But when it comes to the reality of work, by the way they handle the spanners and all that, people knows that you're just a joke. But anyway, I keep doing it because I tell them I won't be here forever, because the next contract I go to another country, by all means you can take over. But sometimes they are too greedy or too fast. They want to come in and. But this isn't, for me, it's not a problem, because I know eventually, if you do that, the joke will be on you. At the same time, not to worry about this, because what I can say, you got to be ready for all the disappointment. It's okay. It's all right. For me, I'm okay with it.
I think it's true in a sense of survival subject, right? I think all these experiences depend on the survival point, because yeah, I mean, this happens even in a professional way, right? Let's say a company trains a bunch of people, good people, but they have to pay a lot to those people. And once they got the training, and they ask them to train some juniors, right? And then once the juniors going to get trained, then they're gonna lay off that the first batch, saying that we're gonna go for this budgeted experience with them, right? It's a survival thing. But I think when it comes to an experience like in Sadhuri's case, I mean, this is not a normal, this is not like a special thing. Like this happens in many fields, almost every field, right?
Every field.
Every field. So I think the idea here is that how do we understand it? How to prepare for it? I mean, right? As you said, we have to prepare us for disappointment. But how do we prepare for this without being disappointed that much, right? Probably if you are so clever, if you are so expert about the subject, are there ways that we can handle our knowledge in a proper way, so we can sort of limit these, differences in our life. So it's a subject to think about, especially given the knowledge.
But in my case, I cannot hide anything, because it's
you cannot. Yeah. That's the thing.
Because how you want to fix it, what you're going to do first, how you're going to look into the maintenance and the repair job and all that. I have to show it to them face to face. I cannot hide anything. But
yeah,
the sad part is sometimes there's people who wants to, because every country, when they see there's a foreigner, but they don't go for the white man, but they always go for the Asian, because see, I'm the only Asian. So they want to say, why you come to Malaysia when there's a lot of Malaysians? I go to Philippines, they say, why there's a lot of Filipinos, why you alone must take over the post of a mechanic, because it's very much higher rate. So that's the problem down
Yeah,
there.
so it's like a unique situation for you. Yeah. Any other thoughts about? Okay, my question was going beyond this kind of situation. When we learn something, probably not just a job skill, probably a life skill, probably a business thing, some plans, probably some wise stuff that we do in our life, managing us. So if you are that person who knows who knows some extra stuff, who has that extra knowledge that not many other people don't have. So how do you think that you should act on somebody who wants to learn it, right? Let's start from the Dhamma part. Has anybody reached out to you to learn some more Dhamma from you as a layperson in your life? Should be, right? There should be some people who might ask some Dhamma things. How did you respond to that person? Were you thinking that I should give everything that I know, or I should keep, okay, I'm not gonna give that. I don't want that this person to become a Sotapanna next day. Huh? How was your response? In case somebody, I think people reach out to you for Dhamma knowledge, right?
I think personally for me, I do have some colleagues, they come and approach me to know about Buddhism because they know I do a bit of studying and things like that. So I will gauge whether if they are receptive enough, to have those knowledge, then if not, and then I will just give them a brief introduction into Buddhism, the various types of Buddhism, like Theravada, Mahayana, Tibetan, and things like that, and try to give them some, some differences. But at the end of the day, I told them, if you want to really read more, you can go and read yourself. And then if you do not know, or you want some clarifications, you can come and ask me. If I know, I will let you know. If not, then I will say you have to go and seek, some further reading materials, or from a Bhante, or a monk, to learn more of these sort of things. Yeah.
I think you're bringing up a very good point. I think even if you look at the Buddha's life, just because people came to ask him, Bhante, can you teach me Dhamma? He did not teach at some points, because his point of view was that there's no point of teaching Dhamma to you. You don't understand it. That is one thing. Second is that it is not conducive to their enlightenment. He has purposely, stopped giving Dhamma at some points, right? So I think, better than talking about how should we behave, I think we have to know the person first, right? Depending on the person, then we decide on should I or should I not, right? You are not going to teach anything to a troublemaker, right? Once the moment gone, you know that there are problems coming up, right? So you have to always know who the person is. But you are a generous person with knowledge. If a good person who really wants to know is coming up to you, then you're going to share whatever the knowledge you have in a better way. But if you can feel this person is going to make a mess, then you should know how to behave. That is how even a teacher has to understand. But teachers are responsible for giving the best, most updated knowledge to their students, contingent upon the specific characteristics, temperaments of students. Right? Remember what happened in that Jataka story, Tila Mutti Jataka. Have you read that story? Tila Mutti. Tila means sesame, bunch of sesame. So Devadatta was a student of this teacher, right? So the teacher was the Bodhisattva. Interesting. So one day when they were teacher and couple students going on the way, there was an old lady who was selling sesame. Right? So they were just passing. But one student, this was Devadatta, looking at the old lady, he grabbed some amount of sesame without her knowledge. Teacher saw this. After went to the school, he sort of punished him. I probably think at that time it happened with a cane or something. So he started the hatred at that point. I'm gonna do the same to you, right? Tilamutti Jataka story, right? Sometimes when a good teacher is going to do something appropriate, one, not do stuff in today's world, we don't approve caning. I mean something, not probably the caning. Probably I think the teacher only advised him, don't do this, not caning. Just telling that don't do this because it's stealing. Because if you do this, one day you're gonna be a big thief because you don't know that this is wrong. But he took it wrongly. How come you're gonna advise to me? I'm gonna do the same thing to you. Very angry at you. So that's why the teachers have to understand properly the student's nature, but they are supposed to give the best out of it, looking at the different characters. Any more thoughts before we jump on to the fourth responsibility about how should the teachers be giving the knowledge? And you know what? There are some teachers, probably many people, who are jealous of giving the knowledge. That's a different side. That's too bad, right? We shouldn't be jealous of giving our knowledge to somebody. Yes, it's okay. Whatever other person knows, it is the other person's problem. But we should be generous to give our knowledge. It is also a dana, one kind of dana. Actually, it is the best dana. Why do I say like that? Sabba dana, dhamma dana, jina. Out of all the danas, giving dhamma is the highest. Why is it? Then somebody is helping others purify their wisdom or knowledge, ignorance, right? Develop the wisdom. Okay, let's go to the fourth responsibility here. Okay, sabba sippa sutam samakkaino. That means samakkaino means teacher is going to give every knowledge which has hard and soft skills to the student without hiding. Mitta macchesu patiyadente. Mitta macchesu. Who are they? Mitta means friends. Maccha means colleagues. Teacher should introduce his or her students to appropriate people, right? Let's say you are a good teacher, then you are going to introduce your student to other good friends. Now, this is very interesting in today's world, right? If you know a good teacher, then that good teacher will introduce you to potential employers, good people, professors, lecturers. So you are entering into a very meritorious, rewarding area in your life, right? Without good teachers, you won't be able to know them. Right? On the other hand, teachers are supposed to introduce their students to such people. That is a responsibility. The last responsibility is disasu parittanam karot. Disasu. What does disasu mean? It is said here, providing safeguards in every direction. Disasu means directions. Wherever his or her student goes, teacher has to make sure the student is safe. Now, what kind of a situation is this talking about? This is that ancient time. Student is living in a dormitory. Teacher is living there also. Student is going out. So teacher has to make sure the student is coming safe or going safe or staying safe outside. So this is related to today's world in a way that teacher makes sure that student is safe till he or she goes home, right? That is how we're gonna take it. Have you seen a very familiar word here? Parittanam. Parittanam. Have you ever come up with this word? Parittanam. What is parittanam? Paritta? I think you know this word. Parittanam. What is parittanam?
Parita chanting.
Paritta. That also comes from this one. Parit means safeguard or protection. Protection.
Protection. Yeah.
Protection. Paritta means protection.
Mm.
Okay, so that is the last response. So if we go back again, Suvinitang Vinenti, teachers are responsible of disciplining their students. Teachers are responsible of understanding the receptivity of students. Teachers are responsible of teaching the best knowledge which has hard and soft skills to their students. Teachers are responsible of introducing their students to their friends and colleagues. Teachers are responsible of taking care, probably protecting, making sure that their students are safe. These are the 5 responsibilities. Any questions so far? But I think I need to read the rest and then we can go into that. Imehiko Gahapatiputta household, Panchahitanehi in 5 places. Antevasina. Antevasina means, now Antevasina means someone who lives in a dormitory, hostel. That means this is not a modern day, probably a student, but I think the hostel dormitory culture is like this, right? There is a dormitory, there is a warden in a dormitory. It's a teacher. So this warden is concerned about his or her students. If you take the example to Buddhist time. So in this way, students are going to Dakina Disa Acharya Pachupat, take care of the southern direction. Thinking in southern direction, I have to respect my teachers. And here, teachers have to respect. Imehi Panchahitanihi Ante Vasing Anupa. Teachers are going to take care of their southern direction. Students are going to take care of their southern direction towards teachers. That is how they both going to Patichanna. Dakina Disa Patichanna. They're going to cover the southern direction, which makes them to be Kema Appatibaya, safe and then fearless. I think we all like to be fearless. We don't want to live with fear, right? Okay, so any questions about teachers and you being a teacher to your children, maybe to classroom children, no. Probably for others, even teachers in the sense of knowing something, right? Know something better than the other folks, right? Because after this, we're going to be learning something more interesting. We're going to be going to cover the Western direction where the spouses are discussed, the male spouse and female spouse. Very interesting. All right, any questions about these responsibilities, both from students to teachers and teachers to students? Okay, have you seen people who are very greedy of their knowledge? Have you seen such people? They don't like to share. Why is it? What reasons have led them to be so?
They are afraid that they will, like what Sadiris mentioned, it gets surpassed.
Taken over.
Yeah.
Gang up and kick him out. This is the right. So flock together and then make a plan behind the scene. It happens, especially at work. But as an idea, it is good to help out everybody. But according to our work, we have to be careful, right? Because
for me, I don't mind, because the more I get out from that place, I got a better position, better pay.
See,
You see,
pros and
because
cons.
I've done from the day I start work to now 28 jobs, various kind of job. So I got no worries. The more I get into trouble because I get involved to help somebody else, they're doing something, I get a better job, better pay. So that's, to me, it doesn't really bothers me. Until the end, I say enough is enough. 20 years ago, I say enough. I stop everything. So now I'm free on my own. No more tangling with all this.
Yeah. So what is the flip side of being treated this way by those people is that you are entering into new opportunities, and you are updating, and finally you are going wherever you are supposed to be. I think everything happens for a reason, mostly, for the most part. But because the way we plan is not that, so we are getting a little depressed about it. This is not what I wanted, right? So, but there are more events happening in our life out of our control. But if you look back, when you are alone, you might feel that, okay, that has opened up something else, right? So
Yeah,
new
you close
opportunities.
one door closed, there's another door will be open for you. As long as you're hardworking and you're willing to work and put in all effort, no worries. Life is something like that. Unless you're lazy, you're not going to work hard, then you want simple life. That's a bit difficult for me. I'll take anything. I'll take any challenge. So that's why I'm okay with it. But not easy for everybody. Some people can do it. I can do it, but that doesn't mean everybody can do that, no?
Yeah.
Because when you lose a job, you must know how long before you get the next job. You're worried about financial and all that. But for me, I plan A, plan B. So I know this thing got to happen. I plan something which won't be bothering me. Even to the extent where I say I want to quit, I just quit till today. I'm free. Nobody can tell me what time to come and what time to go. There's no backstabbing, no bullshit, no nothing.
Yeah. I think most people, when they are treated so, they're going to take back what they lost from the people. They're going to attack, I guess, take revenge, and this is another big problem. Rather than they continue with their energy and then their new plans, right? So it's a very good idea. I think all this happens because of our knowledge. I think knowledge has to be updated all the time. Learn more, learn new stuff, learn more Dhamma, learn new stuff, learn new ways to learn Dhamma, right? So then you are not stuck. You are not stagnated in one place, right? Now, say for instance, let's take Shakyamuni Buddha, the finest example. I think I mentioned that the other day. When he started searching for the truth, King Kusalagavesi, King Satchagavesi, he went to 3 teachers. Remember who were they? Now I'm going to ask you. Who are their names? Who are his early teachers? There were 3 teachers that the Shakyamuni, I would say Prince Siddhartha, went and then learned under them before he went to Panchavaggiya Bhikkhu, 5 ascetics. What are their names? The first one is not very famous, but you have to know. Bhargava. This is the first teacher. Second, he approached another teacher. Alarakala, second teacher. And then he left him also. Then he went to another teacher. Uttakarama, Bhargava, Alarakala, Uttakarama. And then only he approached 5 ascetics. Now here the idea is that now he couldn't learn much from Bhargava, but he learned something substantial from Alarakala, right? He learned something much more than Bhargava. And he learned a specific jhana from Uddaka Ramaputta. We call Neva Sanya Nasanya, neither perception nor sensations, right? So now every time when he reached the top level of this teacher's knowledge, those teachers invited him, can you stay with me? Let's share our students. What did the Prince Siddhartha say? Thank you for that invitation, but I have to move on. Pretty interesting, right? So if he was really thinking in a way that, okay, I'm going to share, let's share the students, he would have never found the enlightenment without. So he had this incessant feeling, I have to go on, move on. This is not what I want in my life. That is the energy of life, right? I think experiences like Sadhu is mentioning, according to in his specific role of the job, and this could be different from somebody else's experience, but all in all, what we see is that we, with a certain knowledge, are going to be isolated in a small area. But if we continue the way that how we been, functioning, we will be getting into a wealth of opportunities in any field. So the only thing is that don't hate anybody, just continue. Don't have anything to say bad about those people, but just continue, because we're gonna end up with something you never expected, which happened to Shakyamuni at the end, because he then approached 5 ascetics. They were only saying, you know what, you can't become the Buddha like this. You eat a couple meals, you have to stop all the meals like us, right? So you're gonna be somebody who are not eating for long time. What happened to him after that? He understood after 6 years only that this is not going to work either. So then the 6 years is a waste. See, even the Prince Siddhartha had some futile efforts, right? So what about us, right? Just think about. Now we are trying to hit on a target right away, outright. If it didn't happen, we're gonna blame everybody, our parents, everybody around us, right? So that's a good point to learn, looking at the opportunities. And remember, the Sivali's, Arahant Sivali's mother, right? How long has Sivali been in mother's womb? Arahant Sivali? You know Arahant Sivali, the monk who got lots of offerings from the people? In Sri Lanka, his image is always at the front door of many houses, every house, almost every house. So they think that because of him, the houses get food. Yes, what was his story? He was in mother's womb for 7 years, 7 months, 7 days. Is it possible? Can a woman carry a baby for 7 years, 7 months, 7 days? Yeah, she carried. Suppavasa. Interesting, huh? The only woman who carried a baby for 7 years, 7 months, 7 days. Sacrifice. Right? Anyways, so okay. What we learned, how to understand is that how to do our teaching part to anybody, how to understand the student properly, and how to become a good teacher. These are the very important aspects of the relationship between students and teachers. Any other questions before we jump on to the transferring of merits?
Bhante, can I ask how does the direction been, connected to this different group of people? How does it come about? I'm just curious, not south, east, west, that south should be the teachers, then the west, the spouse and all that. How does the direction come about?
Very good question. I think this is just to create a shadow roadmap. Like a shadow road, it's like a shadow cabinet, like you think that, like, we can just think about reasons behind the western direction and the eastern direction. Because I always say, mother, father and children, their relationship first start from eastern side. It is like the sun rises, and the western direction is the relationship of the spouses, and we die with you die one day with your spouse relationship, right? Is after being married, right? So how do we connect others? Southern is the teacher. What is good with southern part, and what is good with the northern part? right? There's no exact plausible reasons for such. But my understanding is that other than the parents and the spouse's relationship, this is just a shadow roadmap, just to put our life in the middle, and then looking at all these people in all four corners, more than that, and just to fulfill our responsibility. Other than that, I don't think there is a specific meaning for why teachers are in the south, why others are in this place. But the common idea in the commentary says that directions were given to these people because there are fears that can arise when we are not fulfilling responsibilities. It doesn't mean that on my south of my life there is a fear, on my western side there is a fear. It's not like that, because if you just metaphorically think that I am in the middle and I see my relationships all across, and I'm taking, okay, probably just to create a shadow understanding about my relationships in my own life, I think that would suffice. Like, for example, if you take it this way, now in your own life, you have your family life, you have your work life, you have temple friends. So like, you should be able to visualize these people. I have responsibilities for them. So then you probably might create a shadow understanding about these people also living with me, and I have to interact with these people too. So probably just to create a visualize map with some, imaginary locations.
Yeah.
Final idea is just to become a good person by fulfilling responsibilities to each other.
It also shows to me that the important people in our life, because it connects to the parents, the teachers, the spouse, and then in a way it set a direction, these are the important people that is close to us and to really play the role well.
Very true. I think when we finish all these responsibilities, you will know everybody, not even the close people, even friends, even employees, monks, devotees, everybody is a part of this. Everybody. I would say most of them who we are always working, who we are interacting on a daily basis. So they all are in that visualized shadow roadmap. So I lay out my life looking at, okay, I have these people, so I want to interact with them in the best possible way. So the parents, spouse, they are pretty much the focal points, but there are other people also, right?
Yes.
Now, under employer-employee relationship, it says, the Buddha says, even employers should give some sweets, confectionaries to their employees, just to keep them happy. I mean, suggestions, I mean, they are interesting. They work as a family, not like that you are under me, I'm your boss, and you have to do whatever I say to you, right? It's not that bossy mentality that the Buddha asks employers to maintain with employees. So I think this is more likely bringing someone to a very peaceful, very fulfilling, very promising, rewarding life at the end, if you know all this. But if you ask me what is behind the directions, I think there's no plausible reason. The only thing is that you are creating just a visualized understanding that these people exist in my life. I have to interact with them in the best possible.
Thank you, Bhante.
Any more questions?
Bhante, this direction sort of things got me to think, because I also recite this sutra called the Jina Panjara. They also have like
very interesting, good point. Yeah.
So they got like certain disciples on your left, your right, your back, and
yes,
front, and
so, but that is a Mahayana Sutta. But let me. Are you trying to compare this to the directions with those people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Jaya Sanagata Vira Jetva Marang Savahini, Chatusacha Matarasam, Gapins Nanasapa, Tanankara Dayu Buddha, Visri Nayaka, Sabbe Patittita Tuiham, Mattakete Munisara. Now, the chanting says that take anybody's life, and on top of his head, there are bodhisattvas living. And then Hadaye Anuruddhocha, in my heart there is Arahant Anuruddha. Hadaye Anuruddhocha, Sariputtocha, that on my right side is Sariputta, Arahant Sariputta. Hadaye Anuruddhocha, Sariputtocha Dakine, Kondanyo Pitti Bhagas. On my back there is Arahant Kondan. But I think this is little, if people know the meaning, they feel a little embarrassed. How come the Arahant is going to be on my different parts of the body? But I think the idea is that I am always surrounded by Arahants. I have the blessings of them. I think let's take that way. But if you really know the meaning, this is from the Mahayana perspective. Actually, this came into Theravada because in the 8th, 9th century of Sri Lanka, way back, Sri Lanka had a very vibrant Mahayana culture, Tantrayana Mahayana. So there was a clash between the Abhayagiri and Jetavana. There were 3 main temples, Mahavihara, Abhayagiri, Jetavana. So Abhayagiri and Jetavana clashed with the Mahavihara. But then what happened? Mahavihara monks got the support from the king, and then they stopped all those Abhayagiri, Mahavihara, what you call Jetavana stuff. So this was the time these couples like Jalanandana, Jinapanjara, these suttas came in. There is one sutta for raining. If you don't have rain, then you just chant it, then the rain. I mean, there is some possibility, but we don't know the verification, but there is a possibility. But the idea is pretty same. But Kelvin, here in the Sigālovāda Sutta, this makes more sense than what you call the Jinapanjara, because Jinapanjara teaches us that our body is always surrounded by different Arahants and Buddhas, which makes somewhat, I can't say it's not sensible, but for us, we don't want to think that Buddha are on my asthma on my backside here, there. I feel like I'm disrespecting in a way, but it is a way how the Mahayanas look at it, so we had to respect that too. But on the side of Sigālovāda Sutta, it is a teaching about the direction. It does not attach to my directions, right? Probably it's a visualized shadow roadmap to think about. That I have responsibilities, right? Not the Arahants and Buddhas are going to surround on my different parts of the body. But interesting.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. Yeah, I think Mahayana sutras, they have a lot of like protection, a lot of parittas for protection and things.
Actually, paritta idea mostly come from Mahayana.
Oh.
If you look at Mahayana people, they are the ones who chant a lot.
Yes, yes.
They have to chant a lot every day.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, that's what people believe. Because even if you take Amitabha practice, in Theravada, I'm not saying that Theravada does not do that. Theravada does it, but Theravada has a more important goal. They say, don't be scared of death. Changes happen. Accept them. Just don't waste your time for thinking about, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to get sick. And then don't use chanting for that or something. I mean, if you look at the substantial meaning. But in Theravada also we chant. So the bigger meaning, the more important meaning in Theravada is to understand the life and prepare the life here and carrying forward. That is the main one. So the idea, Kelvin, here is that not many people can understand it properly because we have a natural fear about life. So with that, even most of us are carried out by those practices. I want to chant more, and it's no bad thing happening. But Theravada, I think Theravada has a different philosophical meaning. Mahayana also has a different meaning. I'm not saying the early Mahayana has a much deeper meaning than Theravada also. So we have to take it different. That is why, even if you see many people, what is more, what you call what has been more easier to people is that the Mahayana practice. They keep chant. Easier for most of them. I think even in Malaysia, I guess, most of the Buddhists, I think, Chinese Buddhists are also Mahayana. So it's not wrong, being wrong. I think some Theravada devotees, they practice the both. It's okay also. There's no harm. But we have to understand the bigger meaning of Theravada.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think especially like me, when I grow up from Mahayana background, they will tend to teach you to chant mantras in case, in the event that you are, feeling scared, you think like something is wrong, they'll ask you to chant certain mantras. So yeah, I think that's where more on Mahayana.
That is,
yeah.
Yeah, they have lots of dharanis, mantras. One thing I like about Mahayana people is that I think Theravadas also, people also have this. In Mahayana, we learn, I don't call Mahayana Theravada, I say Ola Buddhist in my understanding. I don't call anybody, you are Mahayana, I'm Theravada, and we have a difference. I am telling that the way Mahayanis look at life is more compassionate. Say, we all should be Buddha and we should take care of everybody. But in Theravada, some people misunderstand becoming an Arahant and then say, I only want to become an Arahant, I don't care for other people. So this is going to be a problem in a society, right? So our liberation is our liberation, but while we are trying to be liberated, we also need to care others in a proper way, right? So I think they are more into that compassion part. I think, if you look at your Mahayana friends, you can see that, I'm not saying there are very good, compassionate, kind Theravada Buddhists also, right? I'm not neglecting them. But as a whole, the idea of Mahayana, practice is somewhat interesting. And they have these, what you call, musical performances than the Theravada practice. They sing a lot, I guess, right? So more faith part, respect part. Yeah. Okay, I think it's getting more time. We're going to wrap this up at this point. We're going to transfer all the good karmas. Thank you for all the questions. May all the good karmas which we have been accumulating in all these ways be transferred to all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us in this life and also in previous lives. If our departed relatives were reborn in a painful state, may they be able to use all these good karmas to be reborn in a better place. If they are already in a better place, may they be able to learn, practice more Dhamma, and finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti naṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. May all the devas, nagas, Mahindikas also share all these good karmas. May they protect all of you. Specifically, this is the first session in the new year. So may you all be protected and blessed by the devas, nagas, and Mahindikas for good health, quality of life, and prosperity, safety. May the devas, nagas, and Mahindikas also be well and happy. May they also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta Chibumata Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakang Lukasasanang Akasatta Chibumata Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakang Tudesanang Akasattha ca Bhummattha Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Mang Paranti. May we all be in the company of the good friends, Kalyana Mittas. Without being with the Kalyana Mittas, the journey of practicing Dhamma is not that easy. So, thinking thus, we're going to make the wish this way. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu yavanimbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating in all these ways be supportive, helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang baddha pachayino chattaro dhamma baddhanti ayuvanu sukhang balam ayurarugya sampatti sagga sampatti nevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminjatu. By the noble power of Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may all your sufferings go away. May all your fears go away. May all your sicknesses go away. May New Year 2023 be an year where you're going to create more good karmas, deepen, enhance your Dhamma knowledge, and more importantly, practice the Dhamma knowledge. And also the year that you're going to make all your plans come true. The year where you're going to be more well, at the same time, the year in which you're going to be blessed by the triple gem as well, more important. Sadhu, sadhu. That's the end of our session today, first session. Thank you, everybody, and then I wish you a pleasant night, Friday.